bullets that we're dodging, hide the bones in the garden, never beg for a pardon. Cash in before the house rules, never break from the ground rules. Got too high off our own fumes. We keep playing with fire, knowing it's a dangerous game. Yeah, we keep playing with fire. They can smell it from a mile away. Got some black market romance, body with a cold hand, crimes no one gets away with. Some sins you can't atone for, like gold you trade your soul for. Had enough but gotta have more. We keep playing with fire, knowing it's a dangerous game. Yeah, we keep playing with fire. They can smell it from a mile away. So we keep playing with fire. Never learn, you never learn. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Never learn, you never learn. Let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. Never learn, you never. We keep playing with fire, knowing it's a dangerous game. Yeah, we keep playing with fire. They can smell it from a mile away. Yeah, we keep playing with fire.
Well, happy Friday, March 14th, 2025. It's Chris and Mark with the NWA Exchange Podcast, the only podcast you need to listen to know everything about Bella Vista and beyond. Well, we hope everybody had a great week. The weather was shaping up to look great yesterday, but got a little windy today. But boy, howdy did Bentonville get bent over this week. Let's get into it right now. Hey, buddy, old pal of mine, man. They got bent on over there in Bentonville, man. That news
That
is
crazy week, man. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, man. It's got a little bit of a sniffle action going on from this hot, cold weather and the dust storm that
Oh, the
rolled in this
dust.
afternoon.
Yeah. Crazy, man.
It's like the Dust Bowl, man. You know, it's like you think about history repeating itself, and then think about the Dust Bowl that happened, like in this area, this territory back in the 30s, man.
Yeah.
You know?
It's wild. I know. We were getting a ton from Oklahoma, too, you
Yeah.
know? So we're getting hit from two fronts, but the wind was whipping.
That's
man.
why
It was
they're.
maybe
That's why
56 miles per
Oklahoma.
hour.
That's why Oklahoma's motto is it's just okay, man. I mean, if it was if they could keep
Just
their dirt
okay.
on the ground over there, it might be fabulous or wonderful or great. But no, it's just okay, man. You know,
Yeah.
there's an old saying, man. The birds fly upside down over in Oklahoma because there ain't nothing worth shitting on, man. So. Just if you ever look up in the sky, you know, it's always windy. The birds are always flying upside down. I don't know. Probably makes a little bit of sense. I don't know. So I got to beat up on I got to beat up on the Okies, man. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. We want to get into local stuff
let's
here.
go
We got
ahead
a lot.
We got
a
to
lot of
talk
stuff
about
to cover.
what people can look forward to coming up over the weekend and in the very near future. So here we go. Without further ado, Mark, take it away.
Yeah, just to remind everybody, we talked about this last week. Bentonville Farmers Market is running tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. That's out at 104 Southwest A Street in the square. So they'll be setting up out there. And I think it was there a few weeks ago. So it's going to be, I don't know if it's still going to be windy tomorrow. It's supposed to be fairly nice, right? So we'll see what happens.
No idea, man. I haven't looked at the weather, to be honest. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Kind of playing it by ear.
We have the Art of Bird Feeding taking place also Sunday from 2 o'clock to 3 p.m. Butch from the Bluebird Shed will be out there.
Awesome.
He'll be talking about birds and feed and the whole 9 yards. So should be a good time. Head out to Hobbs State Park. So you got two things going on, one Saturday, one Sunday for you.
Yeah.
And we also have the Rogers Reptile Expo, man, taking place Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. That's location there is at 303 Pinnacle Hills in Rogers.
Yeah, it looks like they got a few dates on that one too. So before everybody, like I know all the new people that have moved to Northwest Arkansas to enjoy the wonderful bike trails and the nature that we all got here before springtime gets here, before you start getting on the social media groups, the neighborly neighbor groups and stuff like that, you're going to notice a trend of what kind of snake this is. It's a game that's played every year from all the new people that moved to Northwest Arkansas. Is this a good snake? Is it a bad snake? There's a couple of resources, but this might actually be a good one. Rogers Reptile Expo. They can teach you a little bit about more reptiles in the Show Me State area, which is Arkansas and Missouri area. I think that you guys could probably learn a lot, but at the end of the day, brace yourself for what kind of snake posts are going to be popping up on the social medias in the very near future.
Remember that
spring
king
cleaning,
snake?
man.
I found that king snake on the porch last summer. I bet there'll be some more. The field mice get out there, so they come in. They'll come in hot. Yeah,
Garfield's been raking them in, man. I think he's brought us like 3 or 4 dead snakes this week alone, man. So
Really?
they're out and about. This is the time of year whenever it's starting to warm up, and so. Take advantage of some of these things tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 3:30, the Rogers Reptile Expo. Show Me Reptile Show. All right, moving along, man. Sorry.
All right, buddy. We got box 10 cost plus T-bone steaks this week, man. $5.25 a pound. I tell you what, Chris, I was out at Walmart. They're selling 80 20-ground beef for like $5.99 a pound. So
yeah,
that's
I'd rather have T-bones for that price, man.
Heck yeah! And we got whole boneless pork loins at $1.57 a pound. 5-pound bag of gold potatoes for $1.88 each. 73% ground beef for $2.88 a pound. St. Louis pork ribs, $2.50 a pound. Leg quarters, if the budget's tight, 65 cents a pound.
Yeah, buddy.
There's a lot of good stuff this week. I'm going to grab some T-bones. There's no doubt about that.
Heck yeah.
They always say T-bones, but I find a bunch of porterhouses in there.
Yeah, and spring break's right around the corner, man. So, great
when does
deals.
That start?
I think it's not next week, but the week after for Bentonville schools. So, yeah, that's going to be coming up in the very near future. So, steaks on the barbecue while you're, doing the spring break thing. Take advantage of some of these prices, man. They're great prices for some great meat, man. Okay,
Yes,
man,
sir.
no break. We got a lot to talk about, man. This one in particular, what the heck is going on over in Bentonville, man? I don't know, man. Well, we're going to talk about it. Bentonville city leaders vote to approve rate increase. It's official. Water rates in the city of Bentonville will increase. The 100% rate increase will take effect on April 100%. You know, I thought $3.50 was a lot of money, man. $3.50. Good Lord, it's a lot of money, man. But you know
They came
what?
out of the gates.
They just straight up 100%, dude. Like
They just went out with a knockout punch, man. The uppercut.
They just
They went in for the
doubled
kill.
down, man. All in, dude. Just
They didn't give you the
100%
little
rate
rope-
increase.
They
It
didn't
makes
give
you
you the
wonder.
rope-a-dope, man. They give you the uppercut.
It makes you wonder what's really going on over there in Bentonville, because I've been seeing record growth, man. You know, and it really sounds like where they reaping the rewards of all this record growth. We talked about it on the podcast over the past few weeks of, you know, and how this stuff is relevant to cities that are struggling to, you know, actually operate a balanced budget. You know, we have the bike park coming in, and the city should actually be looking at any type of development, which is, I would consider, needs a category for a tourist trap, right? A tourist attraction, tourist trap. Should be paying a hefty impact fee for those type of developments. But lo and behold, Bentonville is now charging 100% rate increase for water in the city of Bentonville. So it will average out, is what they're saying. Their average out to about $25 more a month for the typical person. After weeks of debate and pushback, Bentonville leaders gave the okay for the water rate increase. It's now left many people bracing for the price hike in just a few short weeks. It's a very hard decision, but I think it's quite an inappropriate decision for the fact that an immediate 100% increase is, I think, an unheard of form of conducting government business. Bentonville resident and business owner Jeff Matkins said, the city says that there are significant leaks in its water lines that must be fixed. Leaders say they did everything they could to absorb the cost, but they were forced to resort to a rate increase. I don't know. Who's putting all these cranes in downtown Bentonville? Who's building, 8, 9-story bikeable buildings in downtown Bentonville? Who's putting all of this heavy development in downtown Bentonville? But no, who's going to pay for all the infrastructure repairs because of all of this quote unquote development? It's not the people that are doing the developments and getting richer off of every one of their developments. It's you, the people, who are expected to pay these maintenance fees, which you already have been paying, to the tune of your $25 rate for average person. That should include that they take the money and they use it for repairs and maintenance and for future expansion, et cetera, et cetera. It's forward planning. But to sit here and neglect to say, oh, well, we've got all this development that's been happening. Right. We have all of this high density population housing structures going in, i.e. massive mega apartments going in. Not even thinking about charging the developer some type of fee to offset for all the cranes and heavy equipment, trains, planes, trucks, automobiles. They have a fleet, right? They have helicopters with what are they called?
Bike lifts?
Not bike lifts, but bike racks on them. They have helicopters with bike racks on them, bro. But but it's the people that are going to have to pay for this, because obviously city leaders don't want to burden one of the richest, developers in Northwest Arkansas, period. Right. Make it make sense. I don't know. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are. Put it in the comments. But I think this is what I'm fearful of, is where you have civic leaders that aren't actively conducting their fiduciary responsibilities, right? They look at the people, the taxpayer, the people that they supposedly represent, as a never-ending source of revenue increases. To the point where now we're at a point where we're comfortable just doubling your rates now. But don't worry, people. You also can look forward to your property taxes going up because of all these said developments that are great for everybody, right? Yeah. Because those are actively increasing your property tax rates. So if the government can effectively keep you paying more property tax and double your I don't know, infrastructure needs. I don't know. Water is pretty basic necessity, right? Electricity, I would say, is another basic necessity. Probably going to be seeing some rate increases for that for, I don't know, maintenance and expansion and the load of all these people moving here. But who's actually driving all these people moving here? Valid question, right? But nobody in our city governments ever want to talk about that. I don't know, Mark. What are your thoughts?
Well, I guess my thoughts are with it is you got to be careful who you vote into office is the first thing. Your city council and your mayor over there have been they haven't been supporting the people, and people kind of just fell back. And this is what we had happen in Bella Vista. Now we have some proactive city councilors that are engaged in the community, and one's actually having get-togethers with citizens and getting input, and that's what needs to happen in Bentonville. The unfortunate thing about it is $25 a month equates to $300 in a year. So someone that's on fixed budget and has limited means of Social Security is a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. That's a pizza for a family. Okay,
but
it might not seem a lot. It's not a 25-cent ice cream scoop or anything, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I like, my thing is if our civic leaders are just okay with saying, it's only $25 more a month. It's only like they have like $25 is just attainable for everybody, right? And I mean, $25 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but people that are on fixed incomes that are watching this whole region just change right before their eyes. I mean, there are people who have lived here for 10 years that are like, what the heck is going on in Northwest Arkansas, right? Yeah. There's people who moved away and came back and visited 20 years later, and they don't even recognize the place. Okay. Yeah. So we have these people that are clearly getting their way, right? They run organizations such as the Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning Council, the Northwest Arkansas Council, Groundwork NWA, all of these things that are boosting. Hey, you want to move to Northwest Arkansas? We're incentivizing that, and we're going to give you a bike, and we'll give you a check for $20,000, right? Just move here. Everybody come here, right? Oh crap, our infrastructure is failing. So you're incentivizing all of this boom, but we're not incentivizing actual proper growth. We're not emphasizing, maybe our infrastructure needs to have a hard look at it before we start doing all this planned development. These are actual things that people should be thinking about, but we just keep on glomming more on there. And then we wonder why we have so many traffic problems, why we have so many accidents. I mean, who's designing some of these intersections where you got to cross other lanes and zigzag, and it's like a kid with one of those old spiral graphs, man, just drawing, road designs and stuff. And hey, you know what? Pepper in put a nice happy little roundabout in over here, right? I mean, I get it. I understand that growth is growth, right? But it has to be done responsibly. It has to be done equitably. And if people are actually forcing all this growth upon us, then they should bear the burden of the cost for said infrastructure improvement problems, or plans and stuff like that. They should be bearing that. They want the development, right? They want the development. They want the people here, right?
Yeah, and it's just not bad. It's not just Bentonville, Chris. We see it in Centerton. We see it in Pea Ridge. There's just so much massive growth that these, 2-lane highways, they can't handle it. It can't be. I mean, you see that now in 72 and 59. I mean, it starts getting backlogged. You get a tractor trailer that gets in an accident, there's an accident, it's a pileup, man, because there's no other way to get around it.
So things like impact fees. This is what this, in my mind, I know the state has a classification of, I mean, at one point they were classifying what a journey was. Okay, it was in state law. I know our state laws are behind the times most of the time, even though our legislators are actually passing state laws that are ambiguous. Sometimes, even in 2025, the one about codifying and setting up property taxes in the Arkansas Constitution. Again, why would we ever want to codify that? More and more states are doing that, though. It's to assure that is something that will never get removed from the state's constitution. They want you to be indebted to them, and they want to control your property values because then they can control that property tax that they get, right? And if they don't want a specific demographic, well, we just do a little development and your property is magically more, worth more. So again, you're not going to be able to afford your property taxes at some point in the future.
Well, you have other states that are fighting now. I mean, it's unconstitutional,
Yep.
And the same thing goes for the millage rates and the school increases. What's happening now is a lot of families are either homeschooling or doing, private schools. So that money, and I know that the state of Arkansas allocates money to those people too, but at what point do you reassess your infrastructure and consolidate more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's a lot of tax money. At one time, Chris, we had
it's
$2
not like they
billion
didn't.
budget.
It's not like they didn't know that they had water leaks, right? They've reported a water leak a year ago and stuff. They know they have water leaks. They know where they're operating a loss. Somebody did do a comment in Bella Vista Uncensored asking about, hey, is this water rate increase going to potentially bleed over into Bella Vista? Because ultimately, we all purchase our water in Northwest Arkansas from the Beaver Lake watershed project, basically, right? That is our reservoir, and we're all purchasing. All of our water comes from that lake. The vast majority of it does. So. I don't know. I don't believe that is actually going to bleed over to us, but it's not far-fetched to say that they could say, hey, man, our infrastructure from the lake to all these municipalities, pump stations and stuff needs to be increased as well, right? Because, obviously the cost of inflation. So these are real talking points, but for the city government to sit here and say, well, we've kind of mismanaged our infrastructure, so we're just going to pass the cost off to the resident, and it's permanent. The 100% rate is permanent, although we're going to go back and we feel obligated to revisit in 12 months and see if we can, maybe lower it a little bit. So, I mean, double their money overnight, man. Yeah, and
you got to remember, at one time we had a $2 billion surplus.
Yeah.
Remember, in the state of Arkansas. So it's like you get that money, you just keep on spending and spending it. It's not budgeted. Yeah. I mean, you got to budget it like you're budgeting for your family. I mean, there's things you got to budget and save for and not spend. And it just seems like it's a free for all out there. So
don't worry, don't take it from us, y'all. Don't take it from us, okay? We're going to go and delve into the comments out here on 4029's news. Fort Smith and Fayetteville, Arkansas post. 100% rate increase will take effect on April 14th. City leaders say it will average out to $25 more or a month for the typical person. Let's check out some of these top comments over here. Our average water usage from last March to this March is $29.21 a month. Double that to $58.42, and that's not included sewage rate increase, sure to come January 2026, and the electric increase at some point. Very sad that our salaries do not increase 100% yearly, with the high inflation already on groceries and other items. I agree with that assessment right there. It's how you can be of the people, for the people, by the people, elected, trying to serve the people, and you can just justify doubling down on an increase. It's only $25 on average, right? But those struggling families of 5 kids, single parent income, they're going to feel it. They're definitely going to feel it. You notice this didn't come out until after the election. If they didn't know it before that time, it shows they were either out of touch with running the city or just laying low on the opportunity. If this increases for repairs, then when the repairs are finished, you should put it back to where it was. Very, very common sense approach, right? It's like, how much money do we need to fully repair our system? Maybe do a bond, right? And then have that paid back over time for the repairs while you obviously figure out your fiscal mismanagements in the city that large with that much development going on. Clearly, somebody's not running a budget properly, man. You should be reaping rewards right now, Bentonville.
Or maybe, Chris, there was supposed to be a federal grant coming the way.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe there was a federal grant that never made it, Chris.
Maybe, I'm sure there's some EPA grants for bike trails that are probably still available somewhere out there. Maybe. But who knows?
Well, we'll see.
Right. But don't worry, y'all. Don't worry. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Walden Five and Dime is finally reopening after they destroyed a historic building and cut it down. They did put up the facade, the fake building. It's reopening. It's, we have to go down and take a look at it, Mark, and kind of say, well, how well of a job did they do at keeping it historic, rebuilding the building back in its historic presence, right? Because that was one of the oldest buildings on the square, believe it or not. But yeah, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, man. The Five and Dime is open, and the museum's open, and the Spark Cafe's open. Thank goodness, man. Their truck burned up on the interstate a few weeks ago. But luckily, the ice cream truck's going to be back. And, don't take it from us. Just take it from the Post.
It's ice cream in town, certainly the cheapest, which is always exciting to pay a couple quarters for a scoop of ice cream.
Yeah.
Great day, not just for Walmart, but for Bentonville. To be right here on the Bentonville Square, where really it all began so many years ago. So to all the Walmart associates here, past and present, and maybe some future ones too. I hope everybody can enjoy this as part of the community. It's awesome to have the Spark Cafe here. I think it's the best ice cream in town, certainly the cheapest.
Cheapest ice cream in town at the Spark Cafe, buddy. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, 25-cent, scoops.
I'll be out there tomorrow.
Yeah, buddy. I'm telling you. But yeah, Bentonville's an interesting little town, man, and boy, they sure know how to rally around the Waltons, man. And I'm glad that the Five and Dime's open. That is something that I am looking forward to just kind of seeing open and people visiting and going in and out of. And I don't know, it's kind of like a walk down, history lane with that Five and Dime there. And the museum, I'm glad that the museum's back too. I know a lot of kids can look forward to going in there and get trained up on the barcode scanners and stuff so that they can successfully navigate a self-checkout in their adult lives. So yeah, good stuff, man, going on in downtown Bentonville.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. More Arkansas-related news. Here we go, man. Senate President Hester says prison can be built for, hold up now, wait a minute, $825 million. Expects Medicaid moves this week. Bart Hester, Cave Springs, expects a bill that centers on power generation to move through the Senate soon. He also predicts success moving forward with funding an $825 million state prison. And he says plans related to Medicaid costs will likely be revealed this week. Hester, the president of the Arkansas State Senate, was a guest on this week's edition of Talkin' Business and Politics. Last week on Wednesday, March 5th, SB 307, the Generating Arkansas Jobs Act for 2025, failed by one vote in the Arkansas State Senate. The bill received 17 votes for 11 votes against, 4 did not vote, and 3 voted present. The measure would allow utilities and electric co-ops to file annual riders with the State Public Services Commission. Those riders would allow them to increase rates annually before a new plant is fully capitalized, rather than the current system that enacts a larger rate increase near the end of the process. The commission would have to determine if the update is in the public interest. After the debate, Senator Jimmy Hickey, Texarkana, successfully asked senators to seek PSC analysis of the bill by early this week. Hester, who was a yes vote, said the move is to get some Senate members more comfortable with the legislation and its intended consequences. So again, man, if politicians feel that if politicians feel like you can pay a little bit more, right? You can afford it. We're fine with doing your rate increases. Now you have it happening at the state level as well. Right. Don't worry. Sarah gave you a break on your grocery taxes, though. Okay. But your property taxes and your energy taxes, and I'm sure that this tax also has an effect on your delivery fee too, that you have to pay for electricity and cable and everything else that's shared between those resources. So again, get ready. The government is PO'd. They lost their cash cow. They want more. They want more from you. It's time to start producing milk, cow. Get out there and get hooked up.
Yeah, it's like I said before. I use that analogy. You got the pie. You can cut it 100 ways or 1,000 ways. It's still the same pie, man. So monies that are being allocated for electric or for water, that was being used for groceries is not going to groceries anymore. It's going to pay the electric bill, the water bill. Somewhere along the line, it falls off the table. So what's going to ultimately happen is it's going to start slowing everything up. I mean, we talked about this before. People are going over the border because the taxes are getting out of hand, the local, the state, the city taxes on top of that. So if you can save 3 or 4% at the end of the day, or a few $100s on a large purchase, you're going to do that.
Well,
right?
Everybody's being squeezed right now, right? I mean, obviously the average American's being squeezed heavily, right? But even the cities are being squeezed right now. They've been overspending. Again, we'll talk about the city of Bella Vista for a moment with their budget shortfall, right? They're overburning, and this is the typical government budget, right? Is if you don't spend your budget, you run the risk of losing your budget, right? It's the use or lose approach versus actually incentivizing department heads to come in under budget, right? Means if you can do more with less, that should be incentivized, right? That's a cost savings, and that allows you to put more away for a rainy day in your reserve fund. So if you do have infrastructure problems, right, Bentonville, you can pull from that reserve fund to address the immediate needs while you plan for future repairs, etc. You can budget appropriately. So in the instance of, like, say, the city of Bella Vista, where we're looking at, giving special policing powers to community development services, because that's a way to generate more revenue, right? Is if we have these people citing people only if it holds up in court, but they're strong-arming people. Right? They're strong-arming people, telling them that they have more than the allocated bedroom listings on their Airbnb. We're paying people to sit there and troll Airbnb listings and harass people for using their property as they see fit, and actually providing a service for Bella Vista and all of our lovely people who like to frequent and ride bike trails here, and that's called Airbnb. So, but we're seeing, again, the police department putting out speed warnings and speed traps, speed monitor zones, right? We'll call them that, right? We see departments trying to scramble to come up with more revenue generators, and that is a warning sign. And when you have, versus actually telling the department heads, show me where we're bleeding money. Where did the $1 million? Where did we just start burning in the red, right? Like, so last year we were running a fairly balanced budget. This year we're burning in the red to the tune of almost $1 million. What is the cause? Look at the cause. Look at the root cause and try to figure that out. But we don't have civic leaders doing that. They're just trying to find ways to get more money. In the instance of Bentonville, we'll just give somebody 100% rate increase. Why not?
Right. I can think of several decisions that made, for that budget shortfall. One was the truck wash. The other one was the statues. All that money that was spent on that could have been allocated towards the budget.
Art.
This is what we call mismanagement. It's
video docuseries that the Airbnb people are paying for it, which is not. Look, Discover Bella Vista probably had a purpose at one point. I don't believe it has a purpose at this point. We've been discovered. Quit taking money out of the people's pockets.
Yeah, that's taxpayer money at the end of the day. So, I mean,
a lot of corporate approaches to government, and that's the thing that I think I'm starting to see trend. Right? Is like this is how corporate entities fail, and they get bloated and over bloated and everything else. Right? Is because they don't actually identify where they're bleeding, where they're underperforming. And where really is this a function of government? How many advisory boards do they have vacant now? Library advisory board, tree advisory board. I keep on seeing them post more and more vacancies and stuff. These are self-fulfilling,
Yeah, that's why it's so important to have someone at the top that has understanding how to budget and manage a business, basically, because it is a business. You got to manage it like it's your own business and understand where your revenue and expenses are.
Yeah, and where every dollar comes out of your bank account.
Absolutely. They're chasing revenue now to make up for the shortfall.
They're chasing revenue, but they're also like chasing revenue to create the appearance of a balanced budget, right? It doesn't matter if it's balanced. It just needs to have the appearance, right? Because it's really not about the people and the good, doing the good for the people, protecting the people, right? It's about just going along with the vision of this council that nobody elected, going along with the plans, right?
Yeah.
The 2025 master plan, a 2030 master plan. Who's the person putting these plans together? Are we voting on these plans? No.
See, and that budget, when they're doing like a yearly budget, is kind of ridiculous. They should be doing month to month and updating the city or the public of what's going on, man. And they should be looking at prior year, same time frame, and using it as a benchmark. You can't just say, I'm down $1 million into the year. If I was his boss, I'd say, I don't want to wait to the end of the year. Get a handle on this, man.
Right.
Let me know what
You should be doing quarterly. You should be
revenues.
doing quarterly reviews just to say, are we overburning or are we
Right.
underburning?
What are
right?
we going to do?
You know,
to
the whole
correct this
overburn and
problem?
underburn thing is actually a project management metric, man. It's like you don't want to, like, it's okay to overburn in certain things in the op tempo, but you don't want to consistently overburn. It's okay to underburn as well, because that helps you kind of maintain the op tempo. The colder months, right? We're not doing as many road repairs, so it's okay to underburn. But whenever the weather breaks and the weather gets nicer, like it has been this week, we need to start doing some of this pothole repair. So we're going to start overburning for that month. But it all comes out in the wash at the end of the year. And so doing those quarterly reviews on how much you're spending makes sense. Doesn't sound like that anything like that's really going on. You know, because that's your canary in the coal mine. Like, you know, you have infrastructure that's failing. Where has been any initiative to try to creatively fund this from, I don't know, looking at wasteful spending elsewhere and say, we need to take this money and we need to reallocate it to repairs? No,
Right.
that isn't in the thought process, because lo and behold, we can just go out to the pasture and round up some cows and milk them, get that extra little bit of, you know, cream out of them, right? And that's what they do. That's what it's a prime example of what took place in Bentonville, man. But no, don't worry. I know this is a Bella Vista podcast, but we got some news in Bella Vista also this week. You know, what was that whole thing we talked about? You know, is holding the developer. If you want it, fine, you can have it. It's your property. You can build what you want, but you're going to pay for it if you're putting this in the middle of our town. Well, lo and behold, that wasn't the case. Bike park plans pedaling ahead. Development plans for a mountain bike park in Bella Vista are moving ahead, although some residents have concerns. Bella Vista Board of Zoning Adjustment and Planning Commission on Monday approved 3 variances for the Oz Trails Bike Park large-scale development, which is a 190-acre site situated west of the intersection of Oldham Drive and Bella Vista Way. Plans for the region's first chairlift-served bike park were announced last month by Runway Group. The park is slated to open in 2026. It will include more than 20 miles of gravity trails that connect with the existing Oz Trails network. The main entry of the park will be at the existing traffic light at Mercy Way. The Planning Commission approved a variance. Wait a minute. Does the Planning Commission approve variances? Last time I looked, they didn't. Oh, apparently they approve variances for specific groups. Huh. Like, I don't know, developers of things like cottage cabin communities, bike trail people.
Hey, no problem.
Yeah, we'll give you those variances. So what were those variances? Well, the Planning Commission approved a variance waiving the requirement for pedestrian accommodations. Well, you don't need to have that, right? Why would we want to have pedestrian accommodations at a place of business or a sidewalk along Oldham Drive? Taylor Lindley, representing Craft & Toll, the planning and design firm for the project, said site planners do not think it's appropriate to put sidewalk along Oldham Drive, given that it's a very steep and winding road. Difficult for cars to navigate. It would not be wise to encourage people to walk on the road for fear of vehicles, he said. But it's okay to ride your bikes on that freaking road, right? I don't know. I don't know.
And,
Make it make sense, right?
yeah, they're coming out of the Bella Vista Lake. They're coming out and jumping on 71B there. Yeah.
I mean, the city planning commission has made people put sidewalks that go nowhere.
What's wild to me is
because it's got to be ADA compliant, right? It's got to have a sidewalk.
Yeah, it's wild.
But we'll give
like
a variance for these people, right?
It's like when they're cutting over and they're going up Mercy, coming northbound, they're cutting through CVS in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
So there's cars. I've seen almost a few accidents happen there with bikes coming through. It's just not a good place to have bikes coming through that. It's dangerous.
But wait,
it's
there's
very
more.
dangerous.
Wait, there's more. The commission and the Board of Adjustment
Damn
both
wow.
approved the variance waiving the requirement for paved and striped parking lots as well. The variance allows the site to have a gravel parking lot with wheel stops to indicate parking spaces, with the exception of 7 paved and striped accessible parking lots. There'll be 236 standard parking spaces, according to city staff. The variance was approved on the condition that the parking lot would be either paved or redevelopment would occur within 5 years. When we say, I mean, dude,
So who from the
why
planning commission
the hell is the city paving the way for another dumpster fire just to be dropped in the middle of Bella Vista? I mean, look, they gave the city of Bentonville the damn lake, and that thing is an eyesore. I mean, I've seen people comment. The first thing you see is our trashed out highways, a failed dam, overgrown lake. Now we're putting in a bike park with gravel parking lots. Doesn't even have the appearance of being a professional operation. Given the fact that they've burned private land during a controlled, prescribed burn on top of it to include a private property owner's flower garden. Make it make sense. Who's greenlighting this? Oh, we know who's greenlighting it. That's right. That's our mayor and Taylor Robinson, the director of our community development services, who's gotten some really nice publicity, circulated on, her first job ever being the director of Bella Vista.
I think like your point before that even gets done, I think it really is. And people had mentioned that, and it really is. That lake is an eyesore. For God's sake, just get a walking bridge over the top of that so we can open that back up, clean it up. So
how many times have they tried to fix the like upstream up behind Walgreens? How many times have they tried to, like, they've thrown stuff at that bridge there just to be knocked in the face by Mother Nature? They repaired part of the trail. They repaved part of the trail that fell into the river, right?
Yeah.
And yet they come in and like, well, we'll just move it 15 feet over to the left and put in another trail. It's fine. How much money? Okay, it's not working, man. The stupidity's not working. It's not fixing anything.
Just put an elevated walking bridge and you'll never have a problem again. Have it extend 10, 15 feet outside the edges, maybe even further, and be done with it, man.
Yeah.
Why even let the water flow where it is?
But
man?
This just tells you how it's going to go, right? I know Matt Sanders had spoke out at the city council meeting trying to make the city say, look, man, don't give them variances for parking lots and sidewalks and stuff. Don't give them the variances for that. You need to do it like you would do anybody else, right? And it's already showing that they're not. They're giving special privilege to one of the most privileged entities in Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're talking about, fellas and fellettes.
Greasing the skids, baby.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. And the fact that nobody wants to go and speak out about this. Nobody goes to city council meeting and speaks out about it.
I tried about the planning commission.
Nobody wants to give us thumbs up over here just for talking about the stuff that we see happening. Yeah. Why do the people with the money expect us to pay for infrastructure for their developments? Why?
Because the king says the peasants have to pay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's about what it is, man. Throw a couple breadcrumbs and you're going to be happy, man.
I don't know. Maybe we're just nuts over here, man. Yeah, maybe everybody else just sees that. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it, man. You guys are just crazy. You conspiracy theorists. You guys need to be grouped up with Alex Jones over there. No, don't do that to me, man. Not after the week that crew has had. I don't know, man. I might be a little retarded. I don't know. Look, man.
They're building a bike park, man.
They're building a bike park. They're turning your trails Gravity. I don't know. They're turning your trails flowy. I don't know.
Man.
But yeah, so some comments out here on Bella Vista Uncensored, even though I guess comments have been turned off.
That's
Let's take a look at the
uncensored,
comments,
buddy.
man. Oz Trails bike plan moves forward. They could care less how it affects the community. I'm starting to kind of feel that too. It's a fair assessment. Yeah. Yes, they just think of how many houses could have been built here without so much as a public meeting. This is awesome. All right. Well, some people each their own. This is a great question. Did anybody ask the residents if this is what we wanted in our community? No, that's the thing, man. Like, we're just coming. You're going to take it. You will like it. You will have bike trails and you will be happy. Okay. You will eat some bugs and you will be happy. You will own nothing and you will ride bike trails and you will be happy. You understand? You'll be happy. Okay.
They're making them eat the bugs.
They're making them eat the bike trails, man. Making them ride the bike trails. But I don't recall anyone asking if we wanted Airbnbs around all the lakes. So can anyone tell me, do the residents of Bella Vista really have a voice in our community? If I recall, Bella Vista was once a retirement community with beautiful views. What happened? The town center is a perfect view. As a city, you would think we would have a voice and a vote on what happens in our community. Wouldn't it be easy enough to pass a law that if a building is vacant for more than a year, the owners either need to replace it with a green belt and plant a few trees, or they need to build a new building? Do you go to any of those public meetings to tell them how you feel? And that was it. The conversation died on a free speech, uncensored platform. So I don't know. That's just a daily reminder to tell you guys to go out to Bella Vista Unfiltered, the one true free speech platform for Bella Vistans. We don't censor over there. We do have a couple of little BS rules, but nothing. Keep it adult, man. Have those discussions. If we see you guys acting out, we may pull you behind the school gym, put on some boxing gloves and let you duke it out. We'll video it, put it on OnlyFans or something like that, and make a few extra dollars watching two people box it out. But that's kind of in the rules for the group. So just get over there, sign up. You're going to love it. All right. Reminder, hit the like button on our podcast as well. Everything that you do helps us out, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate the support that we get from all of our support staff as well. We have Jennifer doing a great job running the group and promoting the group and promoting the page and helping get our message out so that more and more people can have that unified front, just like the people over on Bella Vista Uncensored wondering if we actually have a say in what comes into our community. Yes, heck yes, we do. You just have to be united. You have to get behind something. And we hope that we can facilitate any of your movements. We had the Bella Vista Litter Patrol, the 5 and was it the
Wendy Picklesmeyer?
Yeah, they've embraced it. Many people in the community have embraced what we're trying to do, and I like to think that we are pretty heavily viewed by our civic leaders. We do have those open door relationships with those people that we can reach out to them at any given time. So that's just some of the reasons why you should follow our podcast page. Tell a friend about it, share it out, and you know what? I feel like we've got a giveaway coming in the near future. Been doing a lot of work with Jerry over at his shop, getting his new future endeavor, turnkey and ready to roll. And he wants to sponsor the podcast for sure. So we'll probably be doing some giveaways in the very near future of some, cool handmade custom stuff too. So look forward to that. But the only way that you can be entered to win is to follow the podcast page, like the podcast page, share the podcast page, all that good jazz. I don't want to tell you how to run your social media, but every like that and every comment that you guys do does help us out. All right, man. I think we are going to call that a show.
All right.
I know we beat up on Bentonville.
If anybody, needs us to dig into something, feel free to send us an email, chris@nwexchange.com or mark@nwexchange.com. We'll do what we can for you. Or if there's any topics you guys want us to hit on, we'd be more than happy to take a look at it and come up with a plan. But we do appreciate everybody taking the time to tune in. We're just trying to make a difference here.
Yep.
As far as the other page goes, we had to create the page, unfortunately, because There's several other pages that just want to control the
Hey,
narrative.
we appreciate
and
that,
that's
Lori.
unfortunate. Thanks, Lori. So that's where we're at with it. We didn't want to do it, but we were forced. We were getting boxed in, and we don't like being boxed in. We like to have.
Look, man, we weren't being boxed in. We were being kicked, and people had them shock rods out
Thanks,
there, and they
Michelle.
backed us into a corner. Hey, we appreciate that, man. So at the end of the day, man, you back a bloodhound into the corner, and you start putting the shock rod up on him. He's gonna come out, man. He's gonna get a little feisty. So. And that's where we're at. We're just fed up. We're fed up with the control, the boxing, the narratives. Look, everybody has valid concerns and reasons why they think that the city could operate better. We know that we have people who have concerns about constitutional overreach. We have people who have concerns about the capabilities and the adulting aspect of some civic employees. So these are this is why we have this. This is all healthy, this dialogue. Some people may view this as unhealthy dialogue. It's not a place to bash people, but you know what? We're going to call things out for what we see them. And we may use a little bit of, sarcasm or rhetoric that you might not feel comfortable, but that's when actual change happens, is whenever you are pushed outside of your comfort zone. That's the intent of what we do. We try to get people to objectively think about why it's okay for a civic leader, somebody who supposedly represents me and my family, to say, oh, it's okay if we just double their rates.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it goes back to, like you said before, people are working and doing things, and sometimes they don't see what's going on, and we try to provide that information in a format that's digestible. 10, 15 years ago, the news stations to do it, but they checked out. We know that game.
Yeah.
So basically,
the news now just amplifies the voices of the provocateurs.
Right. That's why it's important.
It amplifies the narrative versus the reality.
It's a valid point, but it's great having people follow the show and add to the content, the comments and what have you. And there's a lot of good insight on a lot of topics that I've seen and I've read, which is great. So we're getting people more engaged. I think at one point when we started the show 3 years ago, people were scared. They were scared to speak up. And that's sad to me that you're afraid to speak up. But you know what, man? Life's too short, and we have to work together and love each other. And
it's talk
life,
more,
man.
You have to talk more. You have to have conversations with people. You have to be willing to have those tough conversations. You have to be willing to put yourself out there and talk freely without fear of being judged, because that's where some of the best ideas come from, is whenever you can talk freely and talk more with people that are like-minded. And that's all we're trying to do here, man. That's all we're trying to do.
There's so many talented people in our community that have just been pushed to the wayside and have a lot of great ideas. And that's unfortunate. And that's what we don't want. So those people need to come forward and offer ideas and to move us forward,
Yep. And those same people that, are being pushed aside are also the ones that are, being looked at like it's okay to double their property taxes. It's okay to double their water bill. It's okay to double their electric bill. These are the people that have been pillars in our community that are kind of being forced out, of our communities. And I hate to see that, but until everybody kind of says, you know what, we didn't elect this family, we didn't elect this developer, we didn't elect these people to shape and form this whole 100-mile bubble of Northwest Arkansas. We didn't elect these people. Why are our elected leaders blindly following them, leading us all into something that's not why we love the place that we live?
Right.
Food for thought.
Yeah, good point.
All right. Well, I think that's it, man. We're going to call it a podcast. I know we have been rocking and rolling for 50 minutes. Oh, you guys get a little bit of time back today, okay? I know we talked a little bit extra last week, so we'll give you a little bit of your time back this week. But we appreciate everybody for tuning in and everybody who will tune in and watch. We know that we have some people who, do their thing on Friday nights, so that's fine. We're doing our thing on Friday nights over here. NWA Exchange Podcast. Mark, final thoughts before
Guys,
we send
have a great
everybody out?
weekend. Take care. We really appreciate you tuning in, and just carry on, man. That's
Yeah.
all you can do. I mean, it's a crazy world right now, and we just got to keep on grinding. It'll get better.
Yeah. Remember to stay happy, healthy, and humble when you're out there perusing the world. Remember, you never know what's going on in somebody's world or life, or what, I don't know, 100% increase they got on a electric bill. You never know, right? So just remember to treat everybody kind. Just be empathetic when you're out there in the real world. People are going through a lot right now, and you never know. You don't want to be the person that creates a bad day for somebody else, and you don't want to be the person that pushes somebody over the edge. So just remember to be humble, be kind with one another when you're out there in the free world. Till the next one, I think that's it. Call your mama, tell her you love her. Call your daddy, tell her you love him. Call your family, call your friends, let them know. Till the next one,
Take it easy, everybody.
we're out.
Bye.
Take my hand, walk this road together through the storm, whatever way.